Hey, what's up, everybody? Pat here, grateful recovering alcoholic and addict, just like every day. Guys, please don't forget to subscribe, leave the video a like, drop me a comment, and by all means, share it with anybody you think might get something out of it. Happy Monday, guys. Happy Marathon Monday, actually. I don't watch TV anymore. I kind of forget about these things now. I don't know how the marathon went. I worked today, so, but happy Patriots Day, which, I've always enjoyed Patriots Day being that technically. Patriots Day was always the 19th, which is my actual birthday yesterday. But yeah, I have a business to run. I had a busy day. It was kind of like back to reality after a beautiful birthday weekend. Even though I work Saturday, so it was really one day. But yeah, one of the best birthdays I've had in a long, long, long time. Mostly because of my recovery network. So many friends and so many people reaching out and going out to dinner with my brothers. And again, only because I'm sober these days. So it's a beautiful thing, guys. Um, yeah, busy day. It's going to be a busy week. I got a lot of work done today. I was actually really proud of myself. Things go shockingly good today because I am able to take the experience of in addiction. I was constantly teaching myself the same things over and over again because I couldn't retain anything, and I retain things today because I'm healthy and I pay attention to these things, and I just when I at the end of the day, I'm always surprised by the amount of work that I'm able to get done, and it's beautiful because it means I make more money. I meet deadlines. Like just things just go. Not that they're easy, but they go well today, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. Further, everybody that reached out yesterday and wished me happy birthday, thank you all so much. Made it a really special day. We're going to talk the reading today, guys. It's a very important reading. And I don't like that it focuses so much on family, but and especially since, but it's true. The disease of addiction is a family disease. It did run in my family. Fortunately, out of my siblings, I was the only one that was affected by it. But generational and extended family, it is definitely a family disease in my family as well. And beyond family, detachment is what we're going to talk about today, guys. And my level of detachment has a lot to do with me burning my life to the ground over and over again is really strong, and I see that as one of the reasons I'm able to thrive today because I was able to let go of the past and I'm able to just accept. I don't get involved in things that aren't directly related to me, and I don't mean that in a callous way. But I know in order for me to do any good in the world, I got to make myself bring myself to the highest level that I can. And so that's what my focus is on, and I don't lose. I don't want to say waste because helping somebody you love is no waste. But I understand that I can't make decisions for anybody else. I can't make anybody choose the life that I'm living. And so I just have been able to walk away. If I tell people all the time, literally word for word, if you want to come with me, I'd love to have you walk alongside me, but I'm not going to stick around and wait for you because I've got to live my life and I've got to build my life today. And detachment's incredibly important, guys, because if you're focusing too much on somebody else's disease, you're either trying not to look at your own, or you're putting yourself in a dangerous position. Because if somebody's not ready and they're not where you are, you're not going to bring them forward if that's not what they want, but they're more likely to bring you backwards, and that's a dangerous thing, guys, and it's a hard thing. I'm not saying it's easy, but anyway, let's do the reading and we'll talk about it. So, detachment. Addiction is a family disease, but we can only change ourselves. Many of us come from severely damaged families. I know I did. At times, the insanity that reigns among our relatives feels overwhelming. Sometimes we feel like packing our bags and moving far away. Well, we pray that our family members will join us in recovery, but to our great sadness, this does not always happen. Sometimes, despite our best efforts to carry the message, we find that we cannot help those we hold most dear. Our group experience has taught us that frequently we are too close to our relatives to help them. We learn that it is better to leave them in our higher power's care. We have found that when we stop trying to settle the problems of family members, we give them the room that they need to work things out in their own lives. By reminding them that we are not able to solve their problems for them, we give ourselves the freedom to live our own lives. We need to have faith that God will help our relatives. Often, the best thing we can give our loved ones is the example of our own ongoing recovery. And I know I say this often, always, the best thing we can give our loved ones is the example of our own ongoing recovery. For the sake of our family and for our own, we must let our relatives find their own path to recovery. And the affirmation is just for today. I will seek to work my own program and leave my family in the care of a higher power. And guys, believe me, I almost wrestled with this reading because it's like, ooh, that's a hard one. But it's also, and ultimately I decided to go with it because it's absolutely true. And this can be a very touchy subject. But I've seen, even myself, I was I was starting to work a recovery program years ago when I met somebody that I cared deeply for, and she wasn't ready, though she was telling me she was. And in the end, I didn't get her sober. She got me back on drugs, wore me right down, got me involved in the nonsense. And no matter how many times I could rationalize, no, it didn't work. She wasn't ready. She needed a place to be, so she would tell me anything I wanted to hear. But then her actions spoke volumes, and I saw that daily, and I ignored it because I'd made a commitment. And then, within a month, I was so overwhelmed with trying to keep up with the chaos and then hold down a job that was requiring a lot from me and then ignoring my own recovery. Boom, I turned to drugs when I was just exhausted. And that was the start of that last 8-year run that damn near killed me again. Like, just, and I'm so grateful that I finally get to the point that I'm at now, and I'm not resenting, and I'm not remorseful, because everything had to happen just the way it did to bring me to where I am now. But I understand where I am now. Like, it's already happened. There was somebody that I met briefly when I was, living in home, and I was homeless in Waltham. We hit it off well. She recently came into the program, and I was so excited to see her. But again, immediately I saw that she was putting the cart before the horse, and I had to walk away. I had to pull out my detachment sword and cut ties. And I still wish her well, and I still answer a call. Not that I've heard from her in months, but I made it perfectly clear that no, I'm not. I'm not going to support you. I'm not going to co-sign your bullshit. I'm not going to tell you something that is wrong is right because it's what you want to hear. And then immediately when I did that, boom, she walked away. So that told me right there, like, that's all she wanted. She wanted a pocketbook. She wanted somebody to co-sign her nonsense with it, and that would have put me at great risk. And I'm not willing to risk my recovery for anybody. And that's what we have to do in recovery, guys. It's not always easy. And first of all, the fact that you yourself have made it to recovery is a miracle in and of itself. If somebody that you love is still actively using it, and I hear members in my group talk about this all the time, whether it's siblings, parents, children, you can't. All you can do is hold up the proper boundaries so that you're not enabling them, and then live right and be an example of what's possible in recovery. That is the best way you're going to entice them in. When they see you doing well and getting your shit together and starting to put things back together and get control of your life and starting to move forward, that is the best enticement to get them into recovery. Yelling, screaming, and getting involved and telling them that they're wrong and they have to is not going to do it. All it's going to do is build resentments, both for yourself and for them. And then, the last thing we want is anybody running away from recovery because they think somebody else is now holier than thou and holding like I'm better than you. We're all equal. We're just at different stages of our life. And obviously share the message, right? Talk to them kindly, but don't get so involved that it causes a rift or that you end up getting so frustrated that you go out and pick up over it, because that's, disease of addiction winning. And that's what it wants, and it's going to come at you any way it can. And then if there's somebody active in your family, that's the devil. That's what the devil's going to use to get you back out there. And even if I'm saying it, phonetically or whatever, regardless, that's what's going to happen, guys. We can't get clean for anybody else, just like nobody else was able to get clean for us until we decided internally that we're gonna. And I don't care what got you into the program, whether it was police, family, courts, a judge, fear of homelessness. I don't care what got you here. I'm just glad you're here, and you should be too. And again, carry the message, absolutely. But you have to detach before you get to the point where you cannot control somebody. You can't make somebody get clean. And when you try to and go too far with it, you're just going to risk your own, because you're going to you're going to lose your serenity. You're going to take on somebody else's chaos. You're going to enable them, or you're going to push them away for them, thinking holier than thou. Nothing good can come of it. The best thing you can do is live the best life. Whether it's because you're mad at somebody, I always say the best revenge is a life well lived. Or if it's somebody you care about deeply that's doing the wrong things, if that's where they're at, you have to let them find their own rock bottom, unfortunately. And I go, guys, I know there's people die, and it's terrible, and I'm not, I don't want to see that happen. If you get a section somebody to save their life, then do so, right? But you only know your situation. But you can't make somebody get clean for you. You can only get clean for yourself, or whatever, get clean for whatever. But then show what's possible. Show how good recovery is. Show what recovery has done for you, and carry the message to another struggling addict, and put your energy into where it's actually going to do some good. And like this reading said, sometimes we're so close to the problem, we all have wreckage of our past, and all of a sudden, I know, like myself, it happened when I got out of rehab and I went back to my old job. These were people I was doing drugs with every day, and then all of a sudden I'm trying to preach, not trying to preach, but when I would try to carry a message of recovery to them, they immediately felt like I was preaching, and how dare I, you hypocrite, this is what you were doing. Yes, you're right, that's not what I'm doing anymore. So I detached. I walked away. I said, no, you're right, and I'm sorry. If you ever want to get clean, you know where to find me. I'll always be happy to help, but I can't be here for this nonsense anymore, and I'm not saying I'm better than you, but I'm in a different place now, and in order to protect my recovery, I have to walk away. And it left a lot of empty space in my life that has now been filled up in some beautiful ways, but I had to trust that my higher power would bring me to where I needed to, and it didn't happen overnight, guys. Even prime example, yesterday was my birthday, and it was an absolutely beautiful day. Last year, I managed to have dinner with my brothers, because that's the thing, guys. What we lose will be replaced with something better. But, go back for the last 20 years, and even the years that I was married, my birthday didn't get celebrated. It wasn't important, because I was with people that didn't value me. So I didn't get to celebrate it. Nobody celebrated around me. And even my first year in recovery, I was just starting to build a network, and it was still beautiful last year, because at least people that were reaching out to me meant it, and they were sincere. Not that there was a ton of them. Well, I've continued to work and build my recovery network, so obviously this year there's a lot more of them, and I have a lot closer personal relationships. Made for a beautiful day yesterday, guys. I was overwhelmed and exhausted by the end of the night for having such a full day, but I was so full of gratitude. But you know what? None of them were the people that were still actively using, because I've had to detach from them. And yes, maybe I had it easy, because the people that I grew up with that were close family friends, I detached from them decades ago when I embarrassed myself and was run out of town. And some of those are now my Facebook friends and acquaintances of that nature. But I've had to let that go, and that's okay, because what it's done for me, in that stillness, in that isolation, I've done the proper work. I've focused on myself. I've built a life. I've built a business. I've built my recovery channel. I've built a recovery network here locally. And now my life is full and getting fuller all the time. That's the best thing I can do when I go anywhere. I often wear my recovery gear. As a matter of fact, at the restaurant last night, Robbie, if you happen to check out the videos, how you doing? My brothers and I were sitting having a good time, and the gentleman that was cleaning, busting the table, come over, and he was just laughing with us, and we were just shooting the shit. And he happened over here, my brothers and I talked about the gym and 410 pounds. He's like, did I just hear you say you put up 410 pounds? I'm like, yeah. And we get to talking, and then I put my sweater on at the end, and he's like, oh, you're sober? I'm like, yeah. He goes, I got 64 days. I'm like, dude, congratulations. I shook his hand. I gave him my phone number, and I sent him a link to the channel. Like, I get to carry the message, and I get to show others what's possible today, and that brings me great joy. And just one more, God's always there with me, always puts me where I need to be. I don't know, Robbie, I hope you're doing well, but he's 64 days in. Like, he needs to see somebody that is encouraging and showing him that, hey, keep going. Good things happen, and that's what I was there to bring a message to him for last night. It's amazing how these things all intertwine. But guys, we'll try and stick to the topic, and it's going to be a shorter video because it's a shorter reading. Detachment is incredibly important. You can't go down with a sinking ship, and you can't save somebody that doesn't want to be saved. Put your work into anybody that's willing to listen to the message and help anybody you can. And definitely speak openly and honestly, encourage, but don't let it get to a point where it's causing animosity. And what I was trying to say is earlier, I'm sorry, I think I glossed over it. I like so often do. Sometimes with the wreckage of our past, so I'll talk about my boss. If we've hurt family members that then start using and we start trying to spout, and they're going to just sit there and say, well, you did this and you did that, and now they're making you feel bad about yourself, and you're coming back, and nothing comes of it, guys. Don't argue, right? Don't let somebody else's addiction pull you back in. Live by example, lead by example, encourage, don't enable, don't co-sign somebody else's nonsense. That's one thing that's gotten me into trouble so many times in my other attempts at recovery. Not that I ever took them that serious, but I'd get a little bit of stabilization. I'd run right out and no, I need a girlfriend in my life because I'm solid, I'm healthy, and I've been lonely for years. And I pick somebody without looking at the, acknowledging the red flags, not doing my due diligence, ending up in a toxic relationship, feeling overwhelmed, not having a recovery network, and end up out using drugs again. These are the things that happen when you don't practice detachment in your life. Detachment has allowed me, granted, yes, there's going to be that silence, that moment, that stillness with a lot of emptiness in early recovery. That's all there for a reason. That is your time to pray and meditate and build a relationship with your higher power. Start to learn what your triggers are, do the internal work, the shadow work, and go out and build a recovery network. That stillness and that silence and that emptiness is there for a reason. You got to fill it with the right stuff that will propel you forward and bring you to where you're supposed to be, where you want to be. And when you do that, then that person that's sitting there suffering, having, feeling terrible about their life and hating themselves, and they see you 6 months, a year and a half down the road, thriving, that's the best way you're going to carry the message and get them into recovery. But it's not going to happen until they're ready, and you can't make them get ready when they're not. As much as that sucks, as much as it hurts, unfortunately, guys, it's reality, and we have to live in reality if we want to progress forward in the world. Guys, that is the message for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. Always remember, God loves you. I love you. We'll see you in the next one.